We don't even have to ask, is it recording anymore because of her? Okay. Hi guys, I am so excited for this. We're just gonna kind of go through what's been working for us and what's been making a difference. I know everybody felt it, and I think has been feeling it. The past couple months has been kind of a shift change a little bit, and I know we've talked about how steps to success is so important. And with that comes having to sign those distributors, right? And so we're just going to kind of walk you guys through how to get into those conversations and to get uncomfortable, build those relationships, and all of those things. I actually just signed my first distributor of the month last month. I completed my steps to success like on the last day of the month, and I swore to myself that that was not going to happen ever again. And so I've been making it a point to make sure that I am focusing on distributors. And one of the things that I've always done once I kind of got the grasp of what steps to success was, even though I know that's not what we're talking about, but it relates to it, is from the 1st to the 15th of every single month is where distributors are where I'm putting my focus. Yes, I want to bring in customers. Yes, I want to get up post to post, and I want to do all of those things, but kind of shifting your focus a little bit to bring in the new and sign the new people, to bring them in, to get them a good start into the month. And you guys can do that just by, even if you're still talking about your product posts, but you can still talk about your products, but doing it in a distributor post. You know, how many times are you outside holding your coffee mug, and just, you can talk about how out sipping my coffee on the deck today or on the patio today, and got, you know, so many people started. I think the biggest thing, you guys, is the fear that people have is that they aren't going to be able to sign customers, that they aren't going to be able to be successful in this business. And if you're showing them that you're able to, you know, still be doing your day to day and still be bringing in those customers and doing all of those things, you know, still while having a life, because that's the other thing too, is people think that we need them to be glued to their phone, and that's not true either. You know, for some of us, I know for me personally, I am on my phone all day, and that's what I choose, and that's what I enjoy doing. Do you have to do that to be successful? No. And, you know, being able to show people that you're out doing things and you know, enjoying summer, but you're still, you know, getting those customers, still getting those new teammates and all of those things, and just being super loud about, you know, your enrollments, even if it's just one, even if it's just your one win. You know, you don't have to sign 50 bajillion customers for somebody to believe in you. It's just, you have to stay excited, and you have to stay consistent. And you can't be afraid to ask. You cannot be afraid to ask people. One of the things for me is Instagram. I am terrified of Instagram. I always have been. And it's just one of those things where I don't work from that platform a lot. I work from Facebook. Facebook's my baby. I have, you know, figured it out. I've figured out Facebook. I know the algorithm for most days. I know how to work in or Facebook. And so, you know, some of our leaders and I came together this month, and it was kind of focused on Instagram. And so I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I actually started cold messaging again on Instagram. And it sounds scary, because you're like, I don't want to just message this person about this business, because how am I supposed to know if they, you know, want this or not? And that's the question you should be asking yourself. How are you going to know if they want this or not if you're not asking them, right? And so, you know, just doing the things like going live, for example. You know, you don't have to go on and just be like, okay, so this is how we make money. This is what we're going to, you know, just talk to people and get them to know you and build that relationship. Invite them, you know, when you hop on your live video, have a list of your potential distributors and invite them to come watch your live. And if you're stuttering your words or you don't know what to say, like that's okay, because you're building that relationship with people. And that is one of the biggest things, you guys, is people are not joining. I know I've said this to you guys before, is people aren't joining because it works. They're not coming to you and saying, oh, it works. Okay, yes, that's what I want to do. And maybe there are people out there that have heard, we do have a good track record. We have people here that are here for a very long time. We've been around for 20 years and whatever. So, maybe there are some people out there like that, but more times than most, you guys are joining because of you. And that comes from both customers and distributors. So I just encourage you guys to really start just being you, just being authentically you. I'm sure you guys hear that all of the time too. But and getting out of your comfort zone. I don't want a cold message on Instagram. I haven't liked these people's pictures and like commented and added people on there in so long, but I'm doing it. And you guys, I have 2 potentials from Instagram right now that I'm texting. Okay. Because I got into their inbox. I sent them a message. I can give you guys some cold messages too, while I can put them in the chat for everybody. That might just be easier. And just take a deep breath and just send the message, because you just never know. And I knew maybe it might be easier for you to just look and see who are the people that are constantly watching your stories, but you've never talked to before. Because they're obviously, you can just be like, hey, I know you've seen my stories. Have you ever been interested in doing what I do? And they're either going to ask you what it is that you do, or they're going to tell you no. It doesn't matter. Or they're going to say, yeah, I've just been kind of curious, but I've been too scared to reach out. Because more times than most, you guys, people aren't going to just come to you and ask you what it is that you're doing and how you're making money. That's just not something that people are going to do. That's our job. So I encourage you guys this month, especially if you're really wanting to wait, maybe you're rebuilding and you want to bring in that fresh new blood and all of the things. Do the things that you haven't been doing. Because the thing of it is, you guys, is if you are feeling like you're stuck and you can't sign distributors and you can't do the things, but you're like, but I'm doing all of the things, but you're doing all of the same things that weren't bringing those distributors, right? And so in order to bring in the new and do new things, you have to do new things, right? If you want new things to happen in your business, you yourself have to do the new things. So again, I just encourage you guys to really step out of your comfort zone this month and really try for that. So Courtney, if I'm going to break into you, because I'm not going to do my tip yet until after you spill your tips.
I'm glad you went first, because I'm like jotting down things that I'm like, oh, I need to say that. Oh, I need to say that. And the first thing that I literally wrote down on my notes, and I literally jotted some things down right before we started, but the very first thing I wrote down was belief and mindset are the biggest factors when it comes to honestly anything in this business, but especially DTs, because I think we can get in our own heads, and especially if you haven't enrolled somebody in a long time, or maybe you're brand new and you haven't enrolled anybody yet, or you're just like in a funk. Sometimes we get in our own heads and we tell ourselves like, maybe I can't sign DTs anymore. Maybe nobody wants to join my team. Maybe I can't enroll anybody. And if that's what you keep telling yourself, that's what's going to come true, because you're going to let yourself believe it. And then when things get hard or you're not enrolling anybody, you're just going to tell yourself that, well, I can't enroll DTs anymore. And you're going to let yourself be okay with it. Versus if you switch your mindset to, yes, I can still enroll DTs, or I've done it before, I can do it again. Or, there's people joining this business left and right, so they can join my team too. And people want to join my team, and I'm a good leader and I'm going to be there for them. All those things are going to come true, and you're going to attract people because of that mindset that you have. And I think sometimes we're like, well, I'll just be in a crappy mindset over here because I'm messaging people from my phone and they'll never know. And I'll just fake it until I make it. People know your mindset. I don't even know how to explain it. It is insane. But when you're in a good energy spot in your business and you are excited and you are doing all the things, people are literally like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know how it works. I don't know. It's like a telepathical thing that they know, versus when you're in a crappy mindset, they know that too. And sometimes it comes out in the sense of like, when I'm in a crappy mood, I don't feel like voice messaging people. I don't feel like talking to people at all. I don't feel like going on a video on my story, and that's how they can tell, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel like doing those things. but you have to like switch your mindset. It might be multiple times a day that you have to like flip that switch, flip that switch, flip that switch, and get yourself back in that spot to where you can be positive and be something that people are going to want to join. Because if you're being negative, even to yourself, you're not being negative on your social media, but you're being negative to yourself and your business, nobody's going to want to join you because you're not outwardly being positive to where they're going to be like, dang, like I really want her to be my leader. I want to join a business with her. She's going to be there to be positive for me because she's being positive for herself and all those things. And something that I heard on a Zoom recently, I think it was Amber Parker. Actually, I'm 99% positive it was Amber Parker. But she was talking about steps to success. And she said, you set the bar for yourself. You set like the minimum. And she said for her, steps to success is the bare minimum. There is no way that she is ending a month without at least 6 customers and at least 3 distributors, if not more. And if you let yourself be like, oh, well, it's just steps to success, like, I guess I'll get them next month or whatever. If you don't set that bar for yourself of that bare minimum, you're going to let yourself go by and go by and go by. And then you're going to be like, wait, I haven't enrolled a distributor in 3 months. Well, it's because you didn't set that expectation for yourself that 3 is the bare minimum. And then once you set that expectation for yourself, you like make it happen. And I'll explain it if you've gone through a promotion. If you haven't, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But during promotions where you say, like, if you believe it and you're telling yourself that it's going to happen and you're going to do it, your brain will figure out a way on how to do that. And your actions will figure out a way on how to do that. And so it's the same thing with enrolling. If I say, I'm going to enroll 3 distributors this month, my brain's going to be like, okay, how am I going to do that? Okay, I'm going to make more posts about this. You get more inspired and you get more creative with the things that you're willing to do that. And if you're someone, I work really well under pressure, which sometimes is a bad thing. And so like, I love the 5 LCs $100 every week challenge because I'm like, I have until tomorrow night to get 1 more customer, and you better bet your butt that I'm going to be messaging up until 10 p.m. if I have to get that customer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do everything that it takes until that deadline hits. So use that as motivation if you're like that. If you're not, then find what works for you, for your personality. But for me, like, setting those goals for myself, even if it's something like the steps to success, is something that gets me excited. And for the 5 LCs for $100, what I did was put a sticky note on my laptop. It says the different weeks that we have. It has 5 empty boxes for each week, and I get to check them off as I go so that I can see, like, either like, dang girl, you're slacking, or I can see like, yes, I'm getting them, and like I get to check them off and get excited. Do that with your distributors. And something that actually is like, this is like automatic without even having to do something like that, is get your dang chart out. Because when you get your chart out, especially for the next rank, make sure there's empty boxes on your chart. And you might be like, wait, why do you want me to have empty boxes on my chart? But get the next chart out to where you have empty boxes, because I found, even for myself, and maybe this is the work under pressure thing, I don't know, but when you have those empty boxes, your brain's like, oh, I need to fill that. So in order to fill that box, I need to assign a distributor. So that means I need to go message and post and do all those things, versus if you have, let's say you have an emerald chart out and you've been boxed for emerald for 3 months, but you don't have a diamond chart out with empty boxes on it, there's nothing motivating you to enroll a distributor, because you don't need one to reach your promotion. Versus if you get your diamond chart out, you're going to start figuring out how you can fill those boxes. And as you do that, you're stacking and you're multiplying your business. So you're going to hit that first promotion way faster. And then you're going to hit that promotion and already be boxed for the next promotion as you go, if that makes sense. And I'm doing the same thing as Arian with focusing on DTs, especially the first half of the month. But honestly, this whole month, I'm kind of shifting my focus to enroll as many DTs as possible and bring in new blood. And because I'm very confident in enrolling customers. I know that if I do host post, I have a good system for host to post and a good system for signing loyal customers. So I know that my loyal customer system is down so good that it's almost, I don't want to say that they're going to come easily to me, because I'm still doing the work. I'm not just doing nothing and expecting them to come to me, but it's easier for me because I have such a system where it's like boom, 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 enroll, boom, 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 enroll. So I can enroll my customers like that, to where my DTs is where I need work. So that's where I'm going to focus my hard work on, if that makes sense, to where I have to actually step out of my comfort zone and start doing different things and trying different systems and nailing something down. And that's going to be my main focus, if that makes sense. So, okay, one more thing, and then we can go into the next thing. I wrote stuff down, so I'm like, yeah. another thing, and I was telling one of my girls that's on here right now, I was telling her this the other day because we were talking about enrolling distributors, and she said, well, I'm just scared that they're not going to join. And it made me think, because I'm like, I feel like when we get attached to the outcome of what that person is going to do, yes or no, that's where we almost like, what's the word for it? Basically like messing yourself up. Like, what is the word? It's going to drive me nuts.
I can't think of it. You're just like setting yourself up for failure pretty much, though.
Yes, if someone can think of the word, because it's literally going to drive me nuts, but I'll keep going. I'm so distracted, I can't even. Psych yourself out, kind of, but there's a word. Sabotage yourself. Thank you, Michaela. You're almost like sabotaging yourself because you're so attached to the outcome that you become so desperate in your conversation, or like so unattached because you're so scared that they're not going to join. So you're not like putting your all into the conversation, that they're not going to join anyways. Versus if you go into it with the mindset of, I can't control that. There's so many things in this business that you cannot control. And once you release that control and take that weight off your shoulders and just do your job, which is talking to more people, finding more potentials, giving them all the information, voice messaging them, literally giving them your all in these conversations, it's up to them to make the decision. And I think once you take that control off of you, you start to realize, like, honestly, I don't care either way. Because if they're the right person to join my business, they're going to join once I give them my all and they see that, they're going to join my business. If they're not the right person or I'm not the right fit for them, they're not going to join. And that's okay, because I know that not everybody is going to join my business. And if I let that attachment be so strong that it's either they're going to say no and I'm going to get pissed off and I'm going to be like, okay, I can't send distributors, I'm done. I'm not talking to any more people. You know what I mean? Versus if I'm not attached to it, they're going to say no. And I'm going to say, okay, perfect. I'll give the spot to somebody else. And I move on because I know that there's someone waiting to actually join my team who's ready, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm done for now.
Okay, good. Because I wanted to kind of go off of that. And guys, this isn't like a self-development Zoom, but I want to I want you guys to hear us when we talk about these things on every single Zoom. And it's not just Courtney and myself that talk about this, it's self-development. Okay. Because Cammie said it one time, we did a Triad event here in Rockford and she was here, and it has stuck with me for the past 2.5 years, is, that we are a mindset business with a compensation plan. Okay. Because at the end of the day, if you are being negative to yourself in your own mind, you are outputting negative thoughts into your own business. How are you going to have a team of people underneath of you? Because you're their leader. You're supposed to be giving them confidence. You're supposed to be, helping them believe in themselves. And if you yourself can't believe in your own self, in your own business, how are you supposed to duplicate that into your downline? And not only that, you guys, like Courtney was saying, people can feel the negativity. I know I'm just like Courtney. If I'm having a bad day, you'll see it in my stories because you won't see my face, and I will be a little bit quiet and I'm just throwing up slides here and there and whatever. But you guys, I know people notice, and people do notice that, and people aren't going to want to join you if you're hesitant about it. If you have to have that confidence, and if you don't have it, borrow it, because you have seen what this business can do for other people. Maybe it hasn't done everything on your dream board. Maybe it hasn't checked off certain things for you personally, but you've seen it do it for others. And so you have to have that confidence in knowing that this business is going to change your life, that it is going to change your distributors and your team's life, as well. And my biggest thing for me was in my head was, after I had went diamond, and then I had lost rank right away. And I didn't know how to talk to people, because I was like, well, and even before diamond, because I was like, I'm not making all of that money. I'm not doing all the things. Like, it's just, okay, so it's paying for my gas and groceries. Like, cool. But like, you guys, we have to remember, like, that's what I joined for. I joined to pay for my daughter's formula, for diapers and gas and groceries. That's what I joined for. A lot of times people aren't coming into this business thinking like, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire and make a bunch of money doing this and come home and all of the things. people don't, I mean, there are some people that are that driven that they join and they're like, this is what I want. And this is how my timeline of when I want it. And that's great. But more times than most, you guys, it's the little things that people are joining for. And I just had to sit back and think, because I was like, I used to get so scared when I would sign distributors up and they would go Ruby, and I would get nervous for them to see their paycheck, because I'm like, are they going to be impressed with it? Are they going to be happy with it? Or are they going to be chewing me out? And, this and that. And that was the other thing. I was self-sabotaging my own business, because you guys, my Ruby paycheck paid for my daughter to be able to hear. It paid for her surgeries. And so it's like, if they can make a Ruby paycheck can make that much of an impact in my life, what could a Ruby paycheck impact on another person's life? Right. And so you have to look at the positive side in all of those things. So, and another thing that Courtney was talking about was host a post, you guys. That's the other thing, self-development and host a post. Like, you got those two down and you've got this business in the bag. Okay. Because if you're getting up host a post, the one thing that I have been doing consistently that is getting me in all of these conversations and having people watch me is that follow-up message of just messaging them. Now, I wait a day. I don't know if Courtney does it differently, if she messages them right away, but if you're getting up at least 10 host a post up 6 days out of the 7 days out of the week, that's an extra 60 people that you aren't necessarily cold messaging and having to feel uncomfortable with talking to, because they already posted for you. They're already doing a portion of what we do every single day anyway. So why would we not offer it to them? Because how many times do you guys have somebody that you're like, oh, should I delete this person off my Facebook because they posted for me 3 times? No, go ask them to join the business. They posted for you 3 times. Go ask them if they want to make money for posting, right? And so, but that's 60 new potentials that you could have a week if you would just get outside of your comfort zone and just say, hey, thanks for throwing up a post for me. And then again, I have that script too. I'm sure you guys have it. But if not, I can drop everything in the chat. But it's just, I wait the next day and then I thank them for posting. And then I get into a conversation with them. Some people, they say no. They do. There's some people that are flat out and they just say no. They don't give me a reason. Fine. If you want to offer them a sample pack, say, okay, well, we have $5 off my sample pack. You can offer them a sample pack, or you just leave it be. Thank them for their time. But the thing of it is, you guys, is even the people that are telling you no, you're still putting a bug in their ear, because a lot of times you're bringing in new people from the giveaway host to post, right? The partnered up. And these people, a lot of times, believe it or not, don't understand what it is that we do and how we are making money. And so a lot of times, if you have a giveaway host to post blow up and you have all of these new people posting for you, and then you're thanking them for posting the next day and asking them if they want to join the business, they have no idea what it is. Guess what? They're gonna be curious about it. They're gonna say yes, I'm curious, or they're going to tell you no. But guess what? They're not gonna stop watching, because now you put that bug in their ear, like, oh, she makes money from her phone. How does she do that? And then that's when it's up to you to make sure that you guys are staying consistent, right? And I know I've talked about that before, where your Facebook wall is your storefront. People are going to come to your store. They're going to window shop for a little bit and kind of watch what you're doing. And, and then maybe you'll throw up a post about, joining for $0 out of pocket, or joining for $49 instead. And that person that told you no is going to comment on there, because now they've been watching you for some time and they're interested. So, distributors are a little bit different than customers, where customers, you can physically show them the results, right? You can physically show them the corporate approved before and afters. You can show that our products are clinically proven, and you can seal the deal. With distributors, it's kind of touch and go. There's some people that are like ready, and they're like, they see dollar signs and they're like, I'm in, let's do this. I don't care, like whatever. And then there's some people that are going to be skeptical. Okay. You have to think back to yourself on how long you watched. How long did you watch before, you joined? And then in that same breath of that is, what made you want to join? What made you want to enroll with your upline? What did they do? Were they excited? Were they posting all of the time? Stuff like that. And then you're going to duplicate that into your own business. And I know Courtney wanted to talk about consistency with all of that stuff, right? Is that what you wanted? Okay.
Yeah, and kind of to touch on messaging hosted posters to offer them the business. I love to do it, especially with people who have a lot of comments, because it's already there that they can be successful. Because I feel like a lot of people, and obviously you don't have to have friends and family that order from you, which is like a misconception of a lot of people. But the number one concern I have from people is either, well, I don't have enough time, whatever. That's probably number one. But probably number two is I don't think that anybody would buy from me. And I think that's behind the scenes, that probably is number one, is what people are thinking about, because they might see you enrolling, but they're still like, okay, but who's going to order from me? Or I can't sell these products, or I can't do that. But when they make a post for you and they have all these people comment, you're literally telling them, like, you made a post for me and you got all these comments. So clearly people are interested. And then once you get them on board with that and they see that people will order from them, then obviously we can teach them other things like host posts and things like that, to where it doesn't all have to be friends and family, but other ways to enroll. But they already see the potential because they've already gotten results, even though it's not even for their own business, it was for ours, if that makes sense. And especially with people who, like, I had a girl who was she posted for me and then she asked about the business before I even asked her. And so before I sign up her customers for that, I'm literally going to ask her, like, hey, are you ready to get started? Because I have all these people who are your friends and family who commented, who those could be your customers instead of mine, and you could be making money off that instead of me. And they're going to be like, dang, so I could literally join and enroll however many customers that I have ready for them right now. And those people could be used towards that. And then that gets them jump started and me get jump started on my fast start. And so it all just kind of comes full circle. And so I feel like that helps a ton too, with using that method, because they already see the potential in it. Consistency, yes. So something that I've realized in the past couple months is just like, when I'm thinking about like my whole, not that I was saying like I can't sign distributors, but I was just like, I'm in a funk. Like, why? Like, I'm in a rut on like, why have I not been enrolling as many distributors? And it's interesting because if you've been in the business for a while, there might be something that you've done in the past and then you kind of just like trickled off of it. And then you're like, wait, why am I not enrolling anymore? Like, why am I not seeing that result anymore? And you're like, well, duh, it's because I stopped doing what brought me that result. And so sometimes it's hard to get back in that groove of like actually starting to do those things again. But that's what I've been doing, because I completely fell off of like being super consistent with posting about the business. And the people that joined me that are on here are probably like, yeah, you used to post about the business all the freaking time. That's why I joined you. And now here I was like barely posting about the business, like maybe once a day, maybe every other day, if that, like telling my story in a different way. Well, when you don't post as often, what am I trying to say? You're like lessening your number of people who are going to join you as quickly. So are there people watching that are eventually going to join me? Yes. But think about like, what if somebody has to see a business post from you 20 times before they're ever going to message you? Okay, well, if you post about the business every other day, and it takes them 20 times, it's going to take them 40 days to actually message you, because it's going to take them 20 posts. Versus if it's going to take them 20 posts for them to be interested, seeing it over and over and over again, and I post 2 or 3 times a day, it's going to take them like 10 or 15 days before they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to message that girl finally, because I've seen her post 20 times now and I'm finally ready to ask her about it. Does that make sense? So the more that you do it and the more consistent you are with it every day, the more that they're going to see that, and they're finally going to be like, okay, I'm going to ask this girl what she's doing. And when they hear your story in different ways, you're kind of like pulling at them with all these different strings. Like they're going to see you post about a lifestyle post about how you're able to work this business while whatever you do, whether you work a full-time job. I need 2 kids right now. Also, whether you stay at home with your kids, whatever you do, they're going to be like, oh, well, I work a full-time job too, and she does too, and she's working this business, so maybe I can do that too. So it's going to pull at that string. And then you're going to post about making $100 bonus, and you covered groceries with that, and they're like, oh, dang, like I need money for groceries, and it pulls at that string. And like you're going to like pull at these different things with these different pain points and your different types of stories. Where eventually they're going to be so interested because they're so involved in like your whole story and everything that it can do for them, because it's doing it for you. Oh, I thought of this while Erin was talking about, I don't even know, you were talking about being consistent on your stories or something, but I somehow started following this influencer on Instagram. And you guys, I don't know why I'm still following her, because every time that I see her stories, I never see her face, you guys. It's literally pictures of stuff like from Amazon or like collages of different things and like a swipe up link every single time. And I literally watch them and I'm thinking, I would probably buy that, but I want to see you use it. Like I want to see that in your kitchen, you using it, you talking about it, your face, and I would probably order that. But because it's just they click, 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 swipe up, I haven't ordered a single thing that she has posted about. And every single time I think about that and I'm like, I need to tell my team that because people probably think that about us when they see us post about business stories, product stories, picture of this, picture of that, and they don't see your face or hear you talk or see you holding a bottle of the cleanse or see you holding a bottle of the gummies or hear you talk about your business on your stories. They're probably thinking the same thing, like, well, I would probably be interested, but I've never even seen her face or heard her voice, so I'm just going to keep clicking. You know, they're not attached to it. And I'm not attached to her to where I'm like, I really need to unfollow her because I don't even know who you are, or what you look like, or what you sound like. Does that make sense? Like, it's so crazy how like it works for so many different things. And so that really kind of hit me in the gut. I'm like, I need to get my face on my stories more because people probably think that about me. And I need to be better about that because more people would swipe up or more people would actually message me about it if it was me being not only being consistent on my stories, but being consistent showing my face and talking about things. And it doesn't even have to always be about the business or the product, you guys. Like share things about your life. Like if you're going on a walk with your kids, literally take a video, say what you're doing that day, how you're going on a walk, show your kids and post it. You know what I mean? Just like little glimpses of different things. And if you follow top leaders, you'll see that they do that. They share little bits and pieces of their day. And then they'll also talk about the business and also talk about the products as well. So being consistent with those things is going to attract all those different people. And like I said, when you're doing it consistently, you're consistently going to be bringing people in and attracting people. I want to say the word consistently again, but I'm getting redundant.
I'm going to add to that too, you guys, with your story and all of that. It's kind of scary a little bit because you're like, I don't want to be that vulnerable. I don't want to be that raw, all of those things. Right. You know, that was kind of hard for me at first because it was a tough, I had family on mine. I had my daughter's dad's family on my feed. And we, you know, him and I, we went through a very, very rough time for a very long time. We were two brand new parents and we didn't know what we were doing. And I did all of it on my own. And, you know, for the longest time, I didn't want to say those things because I didn't want his family to chime in on those things. But once I let go of caring what other people thought, because there are people out there, there are moms out there who were going through, you know, some of the stuff that I was at that time. And I needed to be that person that they needed to hear that from, right? If that makes sense. And so, you know, you don't have to sit there and talk about how you were on food stamps or you were on WIC or whatever you guys call it and where you're from. But like I was on government assistance. That was embarrassing because, you know, again, our Instagram stories, our Facebook stories are our highlight reel, right? People didn't know that about me because my mom and my sister took care of me. They provided me with clothes for my daughter. They provided me with all of the things to make sure that, you know, I could take care and raise my child. And, you know, I didn't want people to know that. I didn't want people to know that at first, but as soon as I let my guard down with that and was vulnerable with people about it, then people saw the real me and not the person that I was trying to pretend to be. And I feel like that opens so many other doors. And, you know, talking about it, you might feel like it's kind of annoying. You're like, why do I have to tell my story so much? And again, it just comes back to you guys. If you're doing the things with Host to Post where you're bringing in these new people, they didn't see that story. Maybe they didn't scroll all the way down. Maybe they just saw your first 3 posts and it was, you know, your $100 bonus and, you know, gummies before and after, and then this and that. And then they were like, okay. And, you know, being consistently posting on your story like that, you never know when it's going to pop up in a news feed somewhere when Facebook algorithm is out of whack, right? We don't know. And so if you're constantly bringing new people in, you have to be posting about it all of the time. And you're going to feel repetitive. Everything in this business is repetitive, but we are the only ones who feel that way. And then maybe like a few stalkers that you have on your page, right? We all have those people that are just always there and always watching. But what comes into that too, you guys, is your stories, showing your face, talking about it. and I need to work on this myself too, but you know, using just the 4 slides that you get on your Instagram video with your hands-free thing. Tell your story in those 4 slides. That's it. Just say something, really, really quick. And the biggest thing that I think Mary Beth Dodd preaches it all of the time is if you ever get asked to get on a Zoom by her, this is what she's going to ask you. What was your life but like before it works? What has it works done for you? And what is it works going to do for you? And that's the simplest way to put your story. And then you can talk about that so quick. I joined 4 years ago to pay for diapers, gas, and groceries. Now I'm a full-time work from home mom. I haven't missed a moment with my daughter. And now I want, whatever's going to happen in the future. And then you talk about that, right? And you always have a goal. And that's the other thing with the people who are constantly watching you too, is they're going to see you hit these goals, right? You don't have to you can have your big dream board where you're like, I want a multi-million-dollar house in Jamaica or whatever, whatever you want to put. But anyways, you can dream that big. I'm not telling you guys to minimize your dreams, but put your dreams out there that people know, that they can see that you get to check off, because that one check mark could be that one distributor that has held on for the past 2 years of your business and finally is like, she did it. Now it's my turn, right? Because you've instilled that confidence in them now. Okay. And so, yeah, just doing that. And the other thing, you guys, that I wanted to talk about was that distributor that I signed today, She threw up a host-to-post for me. And she must have either gone through my stories or gone through my page or something. And she asked me, what is it that you do? And then I went into, what we do. And it's actually funny because she used to be a networks distributor. So like 5 years ago. Okay. And so you can't count anybody out, right? You can't count anybody out just because, and that's what her and I were talking about today is, maybe that just wasn't your time and now is your time. But guess what? It's her time now. And she was watching me. She saw my story. So, that's where that consistency is going to come into play. And then, do you want me to are you going to talk about voice messages or do you want me to?
You can show them how to do what we're going to talk about. But I'll just reiterate that when it comes to DT combos, and this goes back to when I said, why am I not getting the result that I wanted that I used to get? Well, it's because I quit doing the things that worked and got me that result. And one of those things was voice messaging people in my potential DT combos, because I just got super lazy. And I got a thing of scripts from somebody that they said worked for signing DTs, which is fine, and different things work for different people, but it was all scripts. And I literally, what I thought in my head was like, yes, I don't have to voice message. If this works, I can just send them one message at a time and they're going to join and it's going to be perfect. And I'll never have to make a voice message ever again. And they'll never hear my voice, and perfect. And then I started doing it. And I'm like, why are none of these people joining? Well, it's because I was sending them a message after a message after a message. And then I was just expecting them to join. Whereas what used to work for me, and probably what most of my team that's here right now joined me for, was me voice messaging them and then hearing my voice and not only hearing my voice, but hearing how excited I was and hearing how passionate I was about this business and hearing little glimpses of my story and them hearing me say that and then being like, dang, this girl's excited. This business must be really cool. I'm going to join her. These people that I'm talking to now are interested, but if I'm not giving them that extra edge to it, they really can be like, okay, well, she sent me all these messages, so I guess I'll just think about it and maybe I'll join eventually. But there's no urgency to it or excitement behind it to where they're going to be like, dang, I need to join right now because this business sounds amazing. You know what I mean? And if they're not hearing your voice, it's just like the stories thing. They don't know that you're a real person. They don't know what you sound like. They don't have a connection with you to be like, oh, I feel like she's my friend because we're talking. It's just one message after another. And it's that detached relationship from the get-go that they're not going to be like, yes, she is the person that I want to join, versus if they hear your voice and hear your passion and hear your excitement, they're going to feel that attachment to you. And they're going to be more likely to, one, respond to your messages to where you can actually have a flowing conversation. and actually join the business and put something into it because you believe in them and they know that you believe in them because of what you're saying to them in these voice messages. And they don't have to be complicated. Like when you think about voice messages, you might think about it like the stories, how Arian was saying, like it might make you really nervous to like sit there and record yourself. But the thing about it is you can literally say what you were going to say in a message and pre-record it and send it to these people. And it's just as easy as sending a script. And Arian's going to teach you guys how to do that and show you how to do that. But it's funny because I had all these scripts ready to where somebody said one thing and I sent the next script. Somebody said the next thing, I sent the next script. And it was like this, but there was no attachment to it versus now I've created these voice messages that are saved to where now somebody says something, I send a voice message. Somebody says something else or asks a different question, I send the corresponding voice message to where they're still getting to hear my voice and hear everything, but they're getting to hear it from me and not just read it on their phone without that. Does that make sense? So yeah, you can go ahead and.
Okay, so I'm going to simplify it for you guys because like Courtney was saying, there are scripts everywhere. Okay. And I have these scripts on this board and I send it to Courtney. And there was like this, like you could even see if my box could get even larger on how long the scripts were. But here's the thing is I have signed distributors using this script. It does get me in more conversations because I'm ending each one with a question, but at the same time, they're so large. So the easiest thing to do, you guys, is I'm going to dim my phone so that I can show you on literally how easy this is. So I'm on my iPad, so I can't show you guys my notepad, but I have a folder on my notepad of distributor conversations that I've typed out myself. I've typed out my own story to voice message to people. Okay. And before I knew about voice messaging it to myself, I would just sit here and I would hold down and I would just read off of the screen. And that's how I would send my voice messages because it made me that much more comfortable. And you guys, that's how I did my lives for the longest time too, is I used to like write out my live videos and like have notes behind me and stuff. But and one funny thing that I wanted to say when you were talking about people knowing you're real, I had a woman message me and tell me after I did a live video that she had no idea that my daughter and I were real people. She never thought that we were a real person until I was in that live video. So it's a real thing. We're not just telling you that because we want you guys to just start going on live more or going on your story more. It's a real thing. People think we're fake. So but anyways, so if you search your own name in your search bar at the top there, you can search your own name and it's super simple. It's just, you're going to send a voice message to yourself. So you can see like this one is a voice message. And then underneath of it, it says follow up DT, good morning, because that was one that I was doing the other day because I had a bunch of people to follow up with. And I followed up with a voice message and said, because the last one that I had sent them was a script. And the last thing I want to do is just send them a message and be like, hey, did you happen to read all that? So I wanted to try a different approach to it. And so I voice messaged it. And basically, you guys, you are literally going to just hold down the microphone and you're going to voice message. You're going to read off whatever it is you're going to say. And again, I'm sure Courtney has scripts. I can give you the scripts and everything, but especially when we're talking about like how much money you can make and giving a little bit of your story, you guys don't want to have that in scripts. You want to be able to have people hear you talk about that kind of stuff. And especially with the starter kit. Okay. Be excited. Even if you don't have a promo code and it's $99, would y'all not pay $99 to join this business? Because I know I would pay it over and over and over again. Okay. And so you can't be afraid of that 99 either. And you have to be excited about it because if you're excited, they're going to be excited. So anyways, so I won't voice message one on here. I'll just use this one. And then Courtney, you're just going to get a random voice message here in a second. So, but if you look, there's the share option right on there. And so all you do is I text underneath of it to label it. So I know which voice message that it is. Okay. So you've read off your message, whatever it is, a little bit of your story. Maybe it was your story. And then you're going to click that. And when you're going to send it, it's just like a normal message. Okay. And you're going to search for the person. Let me look. And then they all come up here, and then there's Courtney right there. And then I just click send. And then if you look at now Courtney's message, it doesn't say forward. It doesn't say anything. It just shows the voice message. That's it. So nobody's going to know that you guys are forwarding these messages. Okay. And the best part about it, you guys, is you get to record it. If you don't like it, then remove it and try again. Right. It's all that. And going back to, first of all, did all of that make sense to you guys? Sorry, I get all over the place, but like, did that make sense? It's so much easier, and it makes you feel so much less uncomfortable. And not only that, maybe you are doing something where you can't voice message and it's super loud where you're at, or you don't have access to be able to send a voice message or whatever. You just go back to that, you search, and then you just send it. And it's just like you sent it to them, and the other thing, one last thing on that, is to not be afraid if there's noise in the background. I used to get so mad whenever my daughter was being loud, or my family is very loud all of the time. And I used to get so angry with them because I'm like, I can't do my freaking business because none of you guys can just be quiet. And it's okay, because we want people to know like that we still have a life, and then I'm not just like hiding here at my desk all day doing this, pounding keys and voice messaging, right? So don't be afraid if there's a little bit of noise in the background. People want to hear the real you. And that goes for your stories and stuff as well. They don't have to be perfect. They do not have to be perfect. I just posted one the other day of I was making my super reds, and it was in some bubbly water, and it's volcano splash everywhere. Okay. And I was like, I'm going to post it because why not? Right. Because first of all, it's hysterical. It was funny. And I just put a little background music. Yeah. See, and that's the thing, is like, it doesn't have to be perfect. So, but I want you guys to really try that. And then I can't remember what else I was going to talk about. Was there something else I was supposed to talk about?
I don't know, but I'll say something really quick. And if you think of something, you can, chime in. But going along with that, the thing about recording these voice messages is that it might make you nervous and step out of your comfort zone, but it's one day that you sit down for 30 minutes or so, record all of these, get it done, and it's done, you guys. It's there. And some of the ones that I had pre-recorded that I used a while back, I probably used them for like 6 months to a year, the same voice message. So I did the work once, sat down for 30 minutes, probably got the work done, recorded different messages, and I used them over and over and over again for 6+ months. And the preparation that you're going to take of that 30 minutes or so to get that done is going to pay you back tenfold, because you're going to enroll so many more distributors that it's going to be $100 bonuses, $150 bonuses, more people on your team, like growing your team, promoting, all of those things are going to come from it. So it's so worth taking the time to be like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to sit here and I'm going to record these, and I'm going to get them all ready for myself and get it all, set yourself up for success. That's really what you're doing. And something else that I'm still going back through and kind of adding these to it as well, that I'm getting back into voice messaging, is doing that also by, one of my voice messages says like, what questions do you have for me? Like, I literally want them to ask me questions, because I know that they have questions. So what questions do you have for me? And I will answer them. Okay, well, what's the next thing going to be? Is they're going to ask me these different questions, and I probably know a lot of them. And so I'm going to go make voice messages that answer those questions so that I can send them their responses. Like if they're like, okay, well, how do I get started? I can send them a pre-recorded voice message on exactly how you get started, the process, everything that I want to tell them. That's probably where I would explain the price to get started and how everything's going to work and how I'm going to be here to train them and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm going to have that ready for them. What if they say like, well, I'm too busy. Okay, well, I can create a voice message that talks about my schedule when I first joined and combating that objection that they have about being too busy. Well, what if somebody says, well, they don't have anybody to order from them? So I'm going to make a voice message that says, honestly, you don't have to have any friends and family order from you. I'm going to teach you how to gain potentials and gain customers without even having any of them order from you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to answer all those things in my voice messages for myself, so that, like Arian said, if I'm somewhere where I can't sit there and voice message someone, or I'm in a crappy mood, like I was saying before, if I'm in a bad mood, I don't want that to affect my business. But if I pre-record a voice message where I'm excited and I'm like, hey girl, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about blah, 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 I can be in the crappiest mood ever, laying in my bed, and someone asks me a question, and I can send them a voice message and they think I'm excited because I was excited the day that I recorded them. Do you know what I mean? So really, you're setting yourself up for success in so many different ways with doing this. Cause it just, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's one of those things where everything kind of comes full circle and helps you with every aspect of your DT conversations, whereas scripts just don't do the same thing, and they're not going to work as well to be able to get the results that you guys want.
Okay, I just have two more things that I want to say. Going back to the voice messages and stuff, is when you are asking them questions and they do have, if they do have a lot of objections, and they do, get them on the phone, talk to them on the phone. And I say that because it made me so uncomfortable for the longest time too, because I'm like, what if I don't know what to say, this and that? That's when you're honest with them. You are open and honest with them. And like the biggest thing is, people don't have time. They aren't a salesperson. They don't think that they can do, like, whatever. Those are things that you should be able to relate to yourself, because I guarantee you a lot of you have felt those things before you joined. And so you can talk to them and say, I thought that too, but whatever. And just don't be afraid to call them. This was not a distributor. This was a customer. But one of my customers last week, I was just doing a follow-up with her. First of all, it was right after the end of the month. It was July 1st. And so, you know how month end goes, when we're like pounding keys like crazy to follow up with these people to seal the deal. And I knew she wanted to order. She didn't end up ordering. Well, I followed up with her, and she said, girl, you are annoying as HE double hockey, or aggressive and annoying as HE double hockey 6. Yes, I want your product, but I don't even remember what she said. And I didn't even take it to heart. I was just like, oh, okay, great. I was just making sure, because people have, trouble on my website and whatever. And so she gave me her phone number and said, call me. Now my heart sank. I think my blood went to like the tips of my fingers, because this lady just called me some names. But guess what? I picked up the phone anyway, because I was confident about our products. I was confident about what we have to offer. And I ended up upselling her. She got 2 products and all the things. So, there's something different with, because I had confidence. I wasn't sitting there and like, didn't just go into a hole because the lady called me a name. Like, no, like, I know you want the products. Okay. So yes, I'm going to call you. But also, and I know like, my girl, Michaela's on here. When she first joined, her and her, significant other were both skeptical a little bit. And so I called, and we talked on the phone for a good hour, before she finally decided that she wanted to join. So sometimes you just have to take that extra step, of, it's not even necessarily building a relationship at that point. It's just kind of giving that sense of comfort and knowing, because it is different. It's unknown. It was 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, it was a long time, but she's here. She's still here 2 years later. Okay. But anyway, so just take that extra step and get uncomfortable. I know I keep saying that. And then lastly, I do want to say this, just because, I used to do it all the time, is when we talk about being consistent about the business and being consistent about posting, we're not talking about you throwing up a selfie and saying, join me for $49. Join me. Okay. And doing the colored backgrounds. Yes. Do I do them all of the time? Yeah. I'll do a few of them a month, but it's where you are telling your story and what this business is doing for you. If you're just going to sit there and tell somebody that they have to pay $49 to join a business, or $99 to join a business, and you aren't telling them what it's doing for you, they still aren't going to join you. They still aren't going to join you, because you have to again, let them know, like, this is real. This is what I'm doing. This is what it's done for me. Even if it's just filled your gas tank. First of all, that's a huge win because gas prices are very, very high right now. So that's a huge win if you're able to fill your gas tank with a paycheck, right? So I just want you guys to understand the difference of what we're talking about when we mean to post consistently about the business. Is it okay to post if you could join me for $0 out of pocket, would you? Absolutely. Is it okay to post I'm slammed? Does anybody need a part-time, full-time job? Yes, absolutely. That's okay. But should that be what's posted on your wall every single day? No, that should be maybe once a week. I mean, for me at least, I don't know about, yeah, those are the filler posts. And just telling your story. And even when you are telling your story and it's a opportunity post, you don't have to put at the bottom, join me for $49. You can just simply talk about your life and how it's better because of this, or how you made friends because of this business, how you did this because of this business. And you could still end it with just a why not you. Right? You don't have to put a price tag on every single one of your posts, because at the end of the day, if people want their lives changed and they need that extra money, they're going to come to you anyway. They're going to come to you whether or not it's $200, $99, $49, whatever it is. Yes, I love that we have our codes. I do love that we have our codes and that you can join for the $108 and get a full triple threat package. I think that that's awesome. But I just wanted to make sure that I said that because I know when I first started, it was totally different. And I know that's how I posted. And it's just not, it should be deeper than that. So.
And one thing to lead off of you, and then I have one more step and then I'm done. But as far as stepping out of your comfort zone, if you don't, you're never going to learn how to do it. Like, I feel like, especially when you're brand new and stuff, you're like, well, I just don't know how to sign a DT yet. So I'm just going to like chill out for a while. And eventually it's just going to come to me. Like, it's not just going to come to you unless you start dipping your toe in the water and jumping in and learning and making mistakes. And there's so many times where I have sent a voice message or sent a message to a customer or something. And I'm like, oh crap, that didn't work. Like, I better adjust that, or I better switch that up because that definitely did not work. Or, a certain, I don't know, different things that I've done have helped me form better systems. And so you might look at people and be like, oh, well, they have an awesome system. Like, it just came to them, or I'll just copy that system, or I'll just do that. But if you're not stepping into that, or stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping into new things, you're not going to learn anything to where you're going to be confident in signing distributors. If you've never talked to anybody about the business, you're not going to just randomly wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm ready to sign a distributor. And you go talk to somebody and everything is perfect and you talked perfectly and you said all the right things and they joined your team. Like, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be a lot of failures that are going to lead to success. But you have to start with that before you ever are going to get to those right people. You have to hear a lot of no's before you're going to hear yeses. So you might as well just jump in and start figuring it out now so that you can start getting those yeses sooner. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was follow-ups. I feel like for me, it's honestly like my same system as following up with loyal customers. I write everybody's name down that I talked to. Everybody that I talked to today about the customers and the business whatsoever, their names get written down. Tomorrow morning, I go back to all those people and re-jog the conversation. It's the same thing. And so I'm going back to all those people. Maybe they opened my voice message, but maybe they were at work and they didn't listen to it because they were busy or they forgot to respond or whatever. I'm not going to wait a week to be like, hey, did you listen to my voice message I sent you a week ago? They're probably going to be like, oh, I completely forgot and I completely forgot about the opportunity. So I guess I really don't want to join that much. I'm going to re-jog their memory and re-jog the conversation so that we can keep having the conversation and keep it flowing to where they're going to join even sooner. Versus if you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, or you don't follow up with them at all, you're letting people fall through the cracks. And so you can send message follow-ups. You can do like Ariane was doing and send a voice message follow-up. You can do so many different things, but make sure you're following up with these potentials. Otherwise, it would be just like a customer falling through the cracks. What if you did all of these host-to-post for customers, but you never followed up with any of them? You probably would not sign a loyal customer because once in a blue moon, do I have somebody who's like, what's the product? Okay, how much is it? Okay, I'm ready to order. And they order like boom, 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 boom. It doesn't happen that often, but 99% of my customers come from follow-ups, to where if I'm doing those follow-ups, I'm going to sign a lot of customers, which means if I'm doing follow-ups with the distributors, I'm going to sign a lot of distributors, versus vice versa. I'm not going to sign any or hardly any, because I'm just waiting for it to like magically happen in the best case scenario. And not all conversations are the best case scenario conversations, or people have to wait until they get paid. So you're going to have to save their spot, or write their name down in your calendar so that you remember to follow up with them, and then actually follow up with them, and all of those sort of things too. But that was my last tip, was make sure you're following up and being consistent with that, so that you're not letting people that you worked so hard to get them as a potential, don't let them fall through the cracks just because you didn't follow up with them, because they could have just been busy and they forgot to respond. I forget to respond to people all the time. Or today, the little girl that I nanny was like going through my phone and clicking on messages, and I was like, you can't do that. They were text messages, so it wasn't customers, it was just like people. But I was like, you can't do that, or I won't see that they're there and I won't be able to respond to them because you opened it and I had no idea. So people probably have that, their kids do that on their phones. They opened your voice message and the mom didn't even know that it was there until you followed up. And then they're going to be like, oh, I didn't even see that that was there. Let me go listen to that voice message. So keep that in mind too.
Yes. It's just kind of like those, like your Kohl's Cash or your Kohl's Cash emails, or the Old Navy discounts, or whatever you guys are subscribed to. Jane. Okay. How many times a day do you guys get emails from them about the same exact deal, right? That's going on. And sometimes we just put it in our back pocket, right? And so that's just something that you guys need to think about too, is if we're not constantly reminding people like, hey, I'm still here. Hey, let's do this. Hey, are you ready? Then, they might be putting us in their back pocket, right? So awesome. Well, this was so much fun. Yay. I hope that you guys got so much from this. If you have questions on anything, you guys don't be afraid to reach out to us, or reach out to your upline, or reach out in the chat, whatever, and ask all of the things, because, it's time. It's summer. We're about to come into conference in September. Cami keeps talking about building rubies and building new rubies. So we need to sign all of the DTs. Okay. So awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you later.